Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am your host, Data T, and this is my channel, The Good Guys. Today's story, guys, comes out of Whatcom County, Washington. Okay, so again, that Seattle state area. I always call it state Seattle, but it's not Seattle, it's actually Washington state. And this title here is I drop an entire magazine, neighbors share story about saving Whatcom County deputies. This is a very interesting story. Turns out he is a good Samaritan. But before we get into this story, guys, again, please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, hit me on Twitter. I love to talk, okay? And let us dive into this story.
Call to action.
Outside the Bellingham Police Department, the lead investigators in this situation, members of law enforcement, calling these Good Samaritans saints and saying their actions are what helped save those deputies' lives.
A quiet neighborhood full of families faced absolute terror on Thursday.
But the wad from the shotgun landed in our backyard. I had kids outside.
Cody Dieter tells me Thursday around 4 in the afternoon, his family was in their backyard when the chaos started. Investigators say a 60-year-old man started yelling at his neighbor over burning debris. He then came out with a shotgun and fired.
Got the kids inside, and we went in and got our weapons.
Dieter lives next to the home that was burning the debris. He didn't know it yet, but this site would be where he experienced the most terrifying moments of his life. Whatcom Sheriff's deputies arrived on scene, and at some point during the investigation, they say the 60-year-old suspect fired the shotgun again.
Then all of a sudden you hear a shot ring out, and Officer Thompson fell backwards.
Dieter says he was standing with the other deputy, who ran toward the gunshot and got hit as well. Dieter says he was close behind.
That's when I step around the corner. I drop an entire magazine at this guy.
Dieter tells me he and the other deputy dragged the fallen Whatcom County officer to cover in this garage, where they waited for backup.
It was nerve-wracking. It was... my heart was definitely racing.
Eventually, more officers arrived on scene, and the suspect surrendered.
Guys, let me just stop it there and paint what is going through this individual's mind. Remember, he is not a police officer, okay? He's a neighbor. He's just living there, okay? And he sees this. Police roll up, homeboy is shooting out of his house. He's already shot down a police officer. I don't know if that police officer lived. He's already down. Another county police officer comes through. He gets shot. He's wounded. And he sees this. He goes over there, and I'm assuming from what he is saying, he shoots through the door. He empties a mag. Now, most mags, whether it be a Glock or some kind of full handgun, we're talking, if it's a 45, maybe you have, I don't know, 12, 13 rounds. If it's a Glock, whether it be 19, 17, Shield, MMP, whatever, you may have 15 to 17 rounds. So you drop an entire magazine. Then you pick up this guy and you say, let's go. Now, it doesn't say what gun he had. He said he had a shotgun. Okay. But it sounds like he had a handgun, maybe an AR-15. If it's an AR-15, to drop an entire mag, we're talking 30 rounds. Okay. Bullet capacity, in this case, it really did matter, didn't it? So when someone is telling you, hey, maybe we should, you don't need that many bullets. You never know what situation you will be in. And having your gun with as much ammo and ammunition and capacity, the better. There's compact pistols out there. There's compact everything now. okay? But it doesn't beat a full-size handgun or a full mag of 223 or 556. All of that is the best and the safest option. And this guy is a hero. He is a hero. He is a good Samaritan. He is a good guy. All he had to do was turn around and go into his house. He didn't have to intervene. He had kids. Think about that, guys. You have kids. Your first duty is to your children. He made sure that they were safe. But some guys, they just can't. You just can't see evil and not do nothing. It's the only way evil persists is when good men do nothing. And this guy, he intervened. Kudos to him. Holy crap. Wow. Let's move on.
Enforcement is calling Dieter's action a miracle.
Thank you for what you did. There is no doubt in my mind that you saved those deputies' lives.
But Dieter tells me these deputies are members of his community, people they see on the holidays, patrolling their neighborhoods, keeping them safe. He says there was no other thought in his mind on Thursday than to act.
When those guys would take a bullet for me, they'd take a bullet for you.
60-year-old Joel Young is the suspect in this case, looking at 2 charges of attempted murder behind bars on a $5 million bond. Now, in regards to those 2 deputies, there's an amazing community here in Whatcom County. There are 2 GoFundMes that have already raised thousands of dollars for each one of the deputies. If you're interested in learning more on those GoFundMes, go to fox13seattle.com.
Well, you guys have it there. So, it's unfortunate for those 2 deputies. But this guy who stepped in, holy smokes. He said he had to act. There's nothing else in his mind. And he had to act. He had to step in. And he did. He walked in. I always hear this thing. It's called the hero story. It's always modified, but it goes similar to, you walk into that dark forest. You see the lake, the abyss. The monster is there. You dive into the abyss. You go straight for the monster. You let him swallow you. You rip out his heart. You kill the monster. You emerge from the lake. You go back to your kingdom. And you return a hero. And that's what this man is. He's a hero. He is a good Samaritan. He is a good guy. And he had guns. He had a gun. What would he have done if he didn't have it? Every time I see a story, this always just reaffirms it for me. I cannot go back. I cannot. And it's something that we need to understand. Good men have guns. Good people have guns. And if good men did nothing, there would be no good guys.